Hello, thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your July monthly forecast for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you're new to my channel, I'd be delighted if you would subscribe or click on the like button. Also, if you want to download your free natal horoscope, see the link beneath this video and discover all your natal positions. Of course, if you want your 12-month forecast and character analysis and get 30% off with my special offer, please also see that link. And finally, if you want to sign up for your free daily horoscope, which will go through to your device each and every morning, please also see that link too. But that brings us to this month. So what does July hold in store? Hello Capricorn, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for July. This month can be a time of incredible transformation around close relationships. This is because the Sun begins the month in your sector, the 7th house, in the sign of Cancer, so the one opposite to you. But there's going to be a new moon on the 10th, and it's one of those new moons that's not fettered by another more difficult influence. It's also going to be joined on the 11th by Mercury, the planet of communication. So that is going to be a real point of opportunity for you that's going to propel you forwards right through into the first 10 days of August. However, the really incredible thing about this month is that Venus and Mars, the planets of relating, are in a very tight alliance for the whole of the month. Initially in the sign of Leo, and then later on in the month in your sister Earth sign of Virgo. Now that combination in Leo is very, very sultry. If you really want to get closer to someone this month, or draw someone into your cosmic wonderment for the first time, this really does give you the perfect stage to prosper. But also the combination of Venus conjunct with Mars in the 8th house can be about transformations. So if a relationship isn't working so well, this may be the month when you really have to confront that reality. And the story of this month begins not just with the Sun, but also with Mercury, the planet of communication, in house 6 of practicalities. Now, if you remember, last month Mercury was in retrograde, and there's probably been some things around appointments, paperwork, details, which didn't go exactly to plan. And one of the snares was the role of Neptune, which was squaring Mercury, and that was making it difficult to get precise information. There was confusion, and there is the potential for that at the start of this month. I can only be honest. But also on the 2nd, there is a quarter moon in the sign of Aries, the first sign of the Zodiac. Now for you, Aries is house 4, so it's angling to the Sun in house 7. So this points towards, if there is a relationship which isn't flowing quite so easily, particularly with that tangle between Mercury and Neptune, it could be emphasized furthermore from the 2nd through to the 9th as the backdrop of the quarter moon plays out. But you are given a glorious opportunity to liberate yourself from something that isn't working for you, if that is what your situation is. The astrology never informs what's going on for you. It just provides illumination to your situation so you can make clearer decisions for yourself. So Uranus, the planet of freedom, is in the most glorious part of your scope, house 5, which is all about self-expression. It's about joyfulness. It can be about children, their talents. It can also be about where we have fun and sociability. And Uranus is forging a fantastic link to the Sun in the first 10 days of this month. So if you connect to someone where you do feel free and it's pleasurable and it's a little bit edgy and unpredictable, but you also feel that there's something deeper there, you have the perfect combination and invest more of yourself in that situation. But the Sun in its sextile to Uranus also tells you where you feel closed in, where you don't feel stimulated, where you feel a bit bored, where you feel that the commitment may be very strong or has been very strong. You may even share resources. You may be in a business relationship as much as a romantic one. But if it has really gone as far as it can and it doesn't really excite you, then the combination between the Sun and Uranus is asking you to think, is this enough for you? Because Venus and Mars's combination is in your sector of transformations, the 8th house. It can be enormously sensual if it's working in a relationship. This is very hot. People who tend to have a very high sex drive often have conjunctions between Venus and Mars. But for you, in the 8th house, what you're wanting is your financial situation to improve in a stable relationship, or you're wanting that free-flowing intimacy too, or if a relationship isn't giving you that glory which Uranus and the Sun is sparking and provoking within you, then I think the combination between Venus and Mars is thinking about endings, because the 8th house can be a time of endings. It's very scorpionic. So there's a lot for you to decide this month based on the information I'm giving you and based on what choices you make for yourself. But that new moon on the 10th and Mercury joining with the sign of Cancer on the 11th, your 7th house, gives you the chance to try to find greater clarity, because Mercury in the 7th house is brilliant, because where things have been brittle or confused in that angle with Neptune before, now you can be a bit more detached about seeing other people's viewpoints. You're not going to be so necessarily seeing things through the prism of your own emotions only. You can step back a little bit more. The 7th house is very Libran, so it's very give and take. But having the new moon there really does give you a glorious opportunity to recharge, rebirth, meet someone new, or decide to move on. It's really down to you. And there is also a beautiful link from the 12th to the 18th. If you needed to discuss a parting with someone, I think the Sun's angle to Neptune can see you find the words of compassion and care to achieve that separation in a way which won't necessarily be easy at all, but will be sensitive and as peaceful as it's possible to be. Now, the 17th sees a quarter moon, the 2nd of the month, but this time in a very visible part of your scope, the 10th house. This is in Libra. So it could be a work relationship with a boss, with a worker for you, with a colleague, and perhaps things are not flowing quite as sweetly as you would like there. But on the 22nd, the Sun powers into its home zone of Leo. Also the 8th house, joining up with Mars, but Venus says au revoir. It moves into the sign of Virgo. And at that point, you will want to share the truth of your reality, whether it's joyful, whether it's you're not quite sure, or whether you're really questioning the worth of a relationship in your life. But that's going to be a critical date for you. But also on the 22nd, the square between your ruler Saturn and Uranus, which has been going on since the 2nd of January this year, which has been making you feel very frustrated if you haven't been able to just enjoy life, spend money, be free, mix and mingle as you want. If it's all felt very cramped in, which is very likely with all the COVID restrictions, that starts to ease. Things really slacken off. And even in a romantic relationship, if there have been tensions, now you want to transform your emotions into conveying how you feel. There needs to be a conversation about the reality of the relationship. And if it isn't working, Venus moving into the freedom-loving part of your scope will be augmented on the 29th by Mars. And that pushes you to make a change if you feel too fettered. But the full moon on the 24th does ask you to think about life's practicalities, not least money. So the money that's coming in on a daily or weekly basis needs to be balanced against outgoings. You could find that a pension or an insurance premium needs to be paid that you may have just taken your eye off. There could be some kind of unexpected expense in the following couple of weeks, but also it can be a great time to balance where you want to have life's pleasures, how much investment you want to put into situations. On the 28th, Jupiter moves from Pisces, your third house, back into the sign of Aquarius. This can give you a boost as far as your finances are concerned, even if not straight away because it's in retrograde. It can do so before the end of the year. The 28th, however, sees Mercury move out of Cancer into Leo, and this is great for exploring the detail, diving deep, taking more interest in esoteric subjects like astrology, trying to understand the meaning of life. It may seem a little profound, but that's what Mercury can do here. But it's also brilliant if you're a business person and you want to be more entrepreneurial going forwards. But with Mars joining up with Venus as this month draws to a close, and all this energy which has been pulsating in the 8th house all this month, something that you're yearning for a change around, whether it's some kind of deep challenge to transform yourself. This is very 8th house energy. It can be very sexual. It can be about being more daring with your resources. You're wanting to improve your sense of connection to others. And if you don't feel that connection or you don't feel that reward, by the end of the month, you may be wanting to make some fundamental, life-changing adjustments to your situation.